O-Block is one of the most talked about sets in Chicago, known across the globe because artists like Chief Keef and King Von pushed their name into the spotlight. Behind the music, the area had a reputation for rolling with some of the most feared figures in the city, and everything exploded in 2017 when a respected O-Block member named T. Roy lost his life. His death pulled O-Block and 600 together, forming a crew that the streets later called one of the most extreme alliances Chicago had ever seen, the Get Back Gang. T. Roy was considered one of O-Block's core members. He grew up right there in the neighborhood and got involved early, but everything shifted after his close friend O.D. Perry was killed in 2011. O.D. repped Wick City, which later became O-Lock after his passing. According to Street Talk, O.D. was taken out by K.I., a female shooter from STLEBT, as retaliation for the loss of a GD named Tuka. T. Roy and King Von were both tight with O.D., and his death hit them deep, pushing tensions even higher in the area. People on the streets claim that T. Roy's first alleged act of retaliation came when an STLEBT affiliate known as Baby Dot was killed. Not long after, another individual from that same side named Boss Trell was also taken out, and his death shook the GDs heavily. After that moment, rumors say T. Roy became a priority target for his rivals, and over the years, he gained a reputation as one of O-Block's most active members in conflicts around them. But everything changed on February 15, 2017. T. Roy was reportedly caught off guard and fatally shot by someone named TB, connected to a GD set called Taquan World, a crew that had ongoing conflicts with O-Block. What made the situation wilder was the rumor that FBG Duck's older brother, FBG Brick, allegedly spotted T. Roy that day and shared his location with TB, giving TB the advantage before T. Roy could find him. The news of T. Roy's passing crushed O-Block. He was loved, respected, and considered one of their strongest members, so his loss sparked a level of anger that the streets had rarely seen. His brother HK stepped forward, and that's when the Get Back Gang fully formed, launching what many still call one of the most intense waves of retaliation in Chicago history. At the same time, King Von was locked up when everything went down, but he and T. Roy were extremely close, so people whispered that revenge was sitting heavy on Von's mind. Everyone could feel that tensions were rising fast, and when a member from 600 named Buka tweeted, "Y'all don't know the half of what's gonna transpire," the whole city took notice. But before the Get Back Gang even had time to move, tragedy struck again. A BD member named Bobo, considered one of THF 46's top members, was killed just 6 hours after posting bail on a serious case. The individuals allegedly involved were Drilla and Montana from another group. That incident pushed the situation even deeper into chaos. By then, the Get Back Gang was determined to respond to every threat around them. Their first alleged action came when EOG Duke and HK were moving through rival territory and spotted someone from Jarrell City known as Lil Ho Leash. Shots were fired, and after the incident, the Get Back Gang name officially cemented itself in street discussions. EOG even jumped online after and tweeted, "Summer 2017, a lot of Get Back Gang is about to be going on. It's gonna be a cold-ass summer." The tension was impossible to ignore. A week after that, Mikado and Cap from 600 reportedly confronted someone from MOB named Jamo, resulting in another fatal conflict. Then HK and Duke were said to have encountered someone from Taquan World and later spotted another individual named Poppy. HK allegedly stepped out on foot and hit him with extreme precision, which led to the streets giving him the nickname Headshot. After that, things kept escalating. Rumors say O-Block and 600 slid through STLEBT territory and crossed paths with FBG Brick and his cousin Kobe Mack walking down the block. Kobe approached the car to see who was inside, and that's when Glean Cap allegedly opened fire. Brick tried to run, but Trey 5 and HK reportedly chased him down, ending in another fatal outcome. That moment was huge for the Get Back Gang, and they made sure the whole internet knew it when they mocked Brick online afterward. HK wasn't done yet. Months later, he reportedly tracked down the person accused of killing his brother. On September 26, 2017, HK Leash and Mecca allegedly located TB from Taquan World. TB was with someone named Saeed, Saeed survived, but TB passed away at the scene. That moment was viewed by many as the Get Back Gang's official revenge for T-Roy. But the cycle didn't stop there. The conflicts continued spreading across Chicago, with more people getting caught in the crossfire. Just 2 days after TB's death, EOG, Mikado, and Glean were allegedly involved in another fatal situation involving someone from Draw City named Freddie O. What made everything even more shocking was how openly Get Back members were posting online, with EOG tweeting, #GetBackOnTheWay, just watch. By this time, it looked like the Get Back gang believed nothing could slow them down. O Block and 600 were rolling deep, and it felt like no rival set wanted to cross paths with them because the consequences were so unpredictable. But eventually, that changed. Because 3 individuals, Wookie from STLEBT, Lil Cho from Taquan World, and Skinny from Draw City, decided they weren't letting the situation continue without responding. They had all lost people close to them, and they reportedly linked up to target one of the Get Back gang's most feared members. The streets say Wookie, Lil Cho, and Skinny got fed up with feeling hunted in their own zone, so they allegedly slid toward O Block looking for answers. According to rumors, when they pulled up, they spotted HK right outside the gate. HK saw the move coming and tried to dash back inside, but shots hit him before he could make it through, and he fell right there. That's when Skinny, Lil Cho, and Wookie allegedly finished the job, leaving the block stunned. Just days before HK was taken out, he had jumped into Skinny's IG Live comments and threw shade about TB's death. Skinny and TB had been close, so HK mocking him on social media made everything even more personal and painted a bigger target on his back. After HK passed, Skinny posted a cold message on his story saying, "All HK wanted was BT Roy, now he with him." For STLEBT, Jarrell City, and Taquan World, HK had become one of their most hated rivals, so they didn't hide their reactions online once news broke. HK had fought hard to avenge his brother, but eventually he was caught too. Before T-Roy died, HK wasn't even that deep in the streets, but losing his brother pushed him into a level of conflict he never expected. GBG still had losses, but they were far from done. One night, Duke, Muwop, and EOG were allegedly searching for someone from STLEBT known as Can't Get Right. Street Talk said Can't Get Right had been involved in deadly situations with 2 known O Block members back in 2016, Chino and Big A. Someone tipped off EOG that Can't Get Right was outside a store in his own territory, so the crew reportedly slid through fast. Shots went off, and Can't Get Right was hit in the back as he tried to run, and tragically, an innocent bystander was struck and killed too. After that, the shooters allegedly emptied the rest of their clips while he was on the ground. One day before the incident, EOG had posted, "It's gonna be a cold-ass summer," and everybody took it as a warning that 2018 was about to look just like 2017. After the hit, King Von and several O-Lock members went online and started clowning Can't Get Right, turning the situation into more social media chaos. Next on the rumored Get Back gang list was someone named D-Ski from Mob. DQ from O Block and Cap allegedly saw him while driving around the city and shot him on sight. But the very next day, Moby fired back hard and took out someone from 600 known as Waldo. That loss reminded everyone that GBG wasn't the only crew capable of responding. Wookie had become one of the Get Back gang's biggest enemies after the situation with HK. So the plan to catch him looked like something straight out of a movie. GBG members knew he'd be at Doak's funeral, and they felt it was their best chance to corner him. EOG and Von reportedly hopped on FaceTime with Wookie beforehand and told him, "We'll surprise you," adding even more smoke to the situation. A few days later, they made their move. During the funeral, O-Lock members allegedly pulled up ready to take out Wookie and anyone else standing with him. Shots started flying into the crowd, and the rival shot back immediately. Suddenly, the street turned into a full shootout in broad daylight. Wookie reportedly fired at DQ, but DQ hit him in the head and ran back to the car before things went even wilder. When everything stopped, 6 people were shot, but somehow all of them survived, including Wookie. That ended up being the last major operation tied to the Get Back gang. Members were still active afterward, but the non-stop warfare slowed down. For a while, it looked like they couldn't be touched. but eventually other sets started responding and proved that no crew could run the whole city without taking heavy losses too. Then in 2020, tragedy struck again when King Von was shot and killed after a fight with Quando Rondo in Atlanta. Losing Von was one of the biggest hits O-Block had felt in years, and the most shocking part was that it didn't even involve rivals from Chicago. A couple months before Von's death, FPG Duck was shot and killed while shopping in the wealthy Gold Coast area of Chicago. Two cars pulled up and shooters opened fire in the middle of the day, leaving the city in shock. At first, nobody knew who had planned the hit, and speculation blew up all over social media. After Duck was killed, Chicago went into shock. The hit was so bold and so public that everybody knew something major was happening behind the scenes, but the streets had no idea who was actually responsible. Rumors started flying fast. Some said it was tied to old conflicts. Some said it was new money playing a role, and others whispered that the city was about to fall into another wave of non-stop retaliation. Detectives launched one of the biggest investigations the city had seen in years. Cameras, traffic footage, witnesses, everything was being pulled together to figure out how two cars managed to pull off a broad-day attack in one of the busiest parts of Chicago. The internet went wild too, with people trying to connect dots, accusing whole sets, and posting theories that had cops watching social media day and night. Months later, the case took a shocking turn when several people connected to O-Block were arrested by federal agents. The streets couldn't believe it. The feds claimed the attack was part of a long-running conflict and said phone records, cars, and digital footprints helped them build the case. When the news broke, Chicago felt split in two. Some people were stunned, others claimed they already suspected it, and plenty felt the city had just entered another dangerous chapter. The arrests changed everything. O-Block lost several well-known members overnight, and the energy inside the neighborhood shifted heavy. People started moving quieter, watching their surroundings, unsure what was coming next. Even online activity slowed down because everyone saw how investigators had been tracking messages, photos, and posts. Despite all the chaos, the conflicts across Chicago didn't stop completely. They just turned more unpredictable. Crews that once moved loud started staying low, while smaller sets began forming new alliances, trying to stay ready for whatever the city threw their way next. Every summer came with more tension, more rumors, and more pressure as the city struggled to escape the cycle that had shaped it for more than a decade. But behind the scenes, something else was happening too. Families from every side were begging for peace, tired of losing loved ones, tired of burying sons, brothers, and friends. Community leaders tried stepping in, offering programs, jobs, and safe spaces, hoping to slow the violence before another wave swept the city again. Even with those efforts, the story of O-Block 600 STL/EBT, Taquan World, MOB, and every other set stayed locked into Chicago history. A long chain of losses, retaliation, loyalty, and heartache that shaped a whole generation. And as the years passed, the city was left asking the same question: how many more lives would be changed before someone finally broke the cycle? Duck was one of the most well-known GDs in Chicago, and he had a long list of enemies who wanted him gone. His name carried weight everywhere. But in 2021, everything flipped when O-Block members Moop, C-Thing, C-Murder, and Loss were all charged in a federal RICO case connected to his death. Duck's mother even said that another O-Block member named Zell Money was involved too, but he sadly took his own life before any charges could reach him. By the time all this happened, Trey 5 was locked up already and accused of telling on Mikado, which led to him allegedly getting kicked out the circle. 600 had never been as deep as O-Block to begin with, and they'd taken heavy losses over the years, so the Get Back gang ended up losing a lot of their strongest members in a short amount of time. Some people still claim GBG affiliates slide today, but it's nothing like the wild pace they had back in 2017. In 2018, right after T-Roy passed, the Get Back gang went on a spree where the streets said they allegedly caught 9 bodies in about a year while only losing 2 members of their own. Chicago had never seen anything that organized or that intense, and suddenly everybody in the city was watching their backs every time they stepped outside. GBG moved like they were ready to crash out at any moment. But that same energy is what ended up getting a lot of them either locked up or taken out. Chicago is still one of the most unpredictable cities in America, and the street tension doesn't seem like it's slowing down anytime soon. There's been so much loss on every side that it's hard to imagine anyone walking away without trying to get revenge for the people they cared about. Unless something changes, it feels like it's only a matter of time before the next wave of retaliation hits the city again. If you made it this far, thanks for watching the breakdown. Make sure you hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe so you don't miss the next story. See you in the next one.